There are places in this world that were never meant for the living, places where the earth remembers, where the trees watch, where the ground itself is hungry. Aokigahara is not just a forest, it is a ritual, it is an altar, and it has been feeding for centuries. The land that drinks the dead. The old stories talk about this place. They tell of the Ubasute, where the weak and dying were abandoned beneath the trees, left to be swallowed by the silence. Some say it was an act of mercy, others say it was something else, a bargain, a trade, a sacrifice, because the land took them and in return something grew, something ancient, something waiting. And when the famine ended, the forest did not stop taking, it still calls them. Aokigahara is magnetic, not just geologically, though the volcanic rock here warps compasses, distorts signals and bends light in ways that should not be possible, but something deeper. People come here who are never planning to die. They feel a pull, a whisper at the edge of thought, a voice inside that is not theirs. Some make no attempt to leave. They do not cry, they do not fight, they simply walk into the trees and disappear. It is as if something is harvesting them, something feeding. And the most terrifying part, they want to be taken. The forest does not let go. There are rules to Aokigahara. You may not know them, but the forest does. The moment you step inside, you do not walk alone. If you leave a trail, ribbons, markers, string, it will move when you are not looking. If you hear someone calling your name, do not answer. Some who go in never come out, their bodies are never found. Some who go in are found, but they are not the same. They leave, but something leaves with them. And some never died at all. They are still there, moving in the trees, but they are not human anymore. What is being harvested? It is not the bodies. The bodies rot, they vanish, they return to the soil. It is something else that stays. What if despair is not just an emotion? What if it is energy? And what if something feeds on it? Religious sacrifices across history speak of blood spilled to open doorways. Ancient sites of suffering, battlefields, execution grounds, mass graves, become places of haunting, of hunger, of power. Ritual suicides in Japan were believed to bind spirits to the land, forever trapped between life and death. What if Aokigahara is a machine? An ancient living machine, built over centuries to do one thing, to harvest suffering, to consume souls. And what happens when it has had enough? There are stories. Not the ones tourists tell, not the ones in documentaries, the real ones. The ones whispered by the people who work in the forest. Rangers who find abandoned tents, still warm, food untouched, but the person is gone, as if they simply stepped out of existence. Bodies sitting upright, backs against trees, smiling as if they saw something beautiful before they died. Survivors who walk back out days later, but their voices sound wrong, their eyes do not focus. They do not speak of what they saw, only that it is still watching them. And the most disturbing stories? The ones who come back but do not leave the forest. The ones who are seen months or even years later, standing in the distance, motionless, watching. The same clothes, the same faces, but something is missing. Something has changed. Because maybe they never really came back at all. The forest is still hungry. Aokigahara is not cursed. It is not haunted. It is something worse. It is a cycle, a ritual, a slow, endless harvesting of the lost, the broken, the willing. And it is not stopping, because it does not need to take them. They come willingly. And if you ever find yourself in the forest, standing at the edge of the trees, listening to the silence, and you feel it, that pull, that whisper, that urge to step forward just a little deeper, you'll know the truth. It already has you, and no matter how far you run, one day it will call you back.